guys this afternoon, and appreciate again the continual coverage of our student athletes in our program. Coming off the bye week, we used last week in a way that got an initial game plan done on South Carolina on Sunday and Monday for our staff, and then our kids practiced. It was like a normal game week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and had a run through on Thursday, and they got on the road recruiting. So it was a productive week. I thought our team handled it in a mature way, kind of like most of the things that this team has handled so far. And every team's different on how they handle situations, but up to this point, they've done a nice job. And then we got back on the field Sunday night with another practice, and then now in the normal game week. So, got a lot of respect for Will and the program that he runs at South Carolina, and the way his team plays. They're really good up front. And both sides of the ball, line of scrimmage wise, they play physical. You look at on the offensive side, starting off with Bentley and the things that he's able to do creatively within how they play offensively. Very impressed with the way he's playing. He's able to extend plays. He's got a live arm. Really a competitive ball player, and obviously he's got skill all the way around him. The running backs and tailbacks run hard, run tough, can stay between the tackles. They can get outside with speed, and then on the outside they've got a couple guys that present challenges because of the way that they play, not only their linear speed, but also when they get an opportunity when the ball is close, they come down with it in the competitive situations. On the other side, defensively, I think up front, they've got 2 or 3 or 4 guys that we're going to see rotating in there that are very, very disruptive. Play the game the way you're supposed to play it, and then everywhere else they're very sound, aggressive, and have good players all over the field, and you can tell that they're coached really well. So we're looking forward to the opportunity. We're looking forward to the atmosphere that they will create. It's one of the best atmospheres in college football, and admire the way that they do it. And our team's excited about another opportunity. We've made growth since the last time we were on the field in a competitive situation. We've gotten better as a team and as a program, and now we've got the challenge and the opportunity as we get closer to Saturday to find a way to go play our best.
After the Georgia game, you had said that a few of the wideouts were banged up, Hall, Brown, and JJ. Just, what's their status along with Rashad Floyd's?
Yeah, JJ didn't miss a beat, didn't miss a practice throughout the last 2 weeks or a week and a half, whatever it's been. Nate and Emmanuel missed some work early on, but expect all to be ready to go on Saturday, with the exception of Rashad Floyd. I don't know that he's game speed ready, but he looked a lot better today than he did on Sunday night. So I think some of that is getting over the soreness of being back the first time, coming back from that injury. I'm anxious to see him tomorrow, because as the look that made the progression from today, or from Sunday until today, if he makes that jump again between now and Wednesday or Thursday, then we may be looking at an opportunity that he can go help us as well.
A couple special teams questions. Are you seeing any trends or any developments with the new kickoff rule as it changed things, besides just more touchbacks? And how do you get more on your punt return team?
Well, not as many fair catches as maybe I anticipated seeing up to this point with the new rule. I mean, more than anything, I feel like we're getting more returns on situations that you have an opportunity to fair catch and get on the 25. So we did a little study here through 4 games on as much as we could look, scope-wise across college football, and there's no heavy trend either way on touchbacks or fair catches with the new rule. So we have given the opportunity with a couple of our returns. I think if you look at special teams, that would be our best area right now is kickoff return. Punt return, we've got to do a number of things better, because we're not getting really anything productive out of that unit right now, and that's a challenge that we've got to get fixed, because the number one goal in that situation is secure the ball for your offense. Okay, and then once you get that done, let's work on getting and finding a way to steal a first down there, and we're not even close yet. So that's habits of blocking on the line of scrimmage. That's the opportunity to be smart and catching the ball, and then if we give our returner just a little bit of space, I think we can get some positive yards out of it. So personnel-wise, get guys in the right spot. Also fundamentally in habits of of day one fundamentals and techniques of playing that spot on, getting a block on the line of scrimmage, being able to give us a little bit of time. So we spent a lot of time on it the last few days, and hopefully we'll see some reward for it.
Barry, you mentioned the atmosphere in South Carolina. What memories and ultimately lessons did you take away as a player from playing at Nebraska, Oklahoma, some of the other venues in the Big 8?
Well, I think I didn't play the Big 8. I played the Big 12. Don't take me that old. But you look at college football and college sports, and you always forever I'm going to be there's a lot of different roles that you want in this job, but one of them is creating positive experiences for your student athletes, and those are things that they're going to remember forever. On some of the places they have the opportunity to go compete and play. The thing that you've got to do now as a coach on leading a group into there, into an environment like that, is make sure that the preparation is done just like it needs to, but also make them aware of what they're stepping into. And then we've got to go handle it on the communication, on going and executing. When you're prepared and do the things that you need to, it doesn't matter when, where, how, and who you're playing. You're locked in and you're in the zone and in the moment, but also understanding that you embrace really great competitors. They embrace the opportunity to go to somewhere else and play. And I think that comes with maturity of a team and a program, and I look forward to seeing how these guys this year go respond in that environment.
Back to special teams, and second straight week, you're facing a guy who is kind of a threat to go every time he gets the ball on a kickoff. How do you handle when you've got a guy like that back there, and obviously, firsthand experience from a year ago?
Yeah, we look at what Debo's able to do, and he makes a play, multiple plays every game, and there's times that there's not much there, and he ends up making a play. So he is, in my opinion, one of the top playmakers in college football, and he has been now for some time. He's earned that because of the way that he's played. So you better be selective on picking your moments on where you're going to kick the ball, and if you feel like that you're going to kick it to where he's lined up, I would rather it go in row 5, behind the end zone, than him have an opportunity to catch it, because as great or as good as your coverage can be, they do a nice job on getting on the block, giving him a little bit of space, and he's got a unique feel for making something when there's not much there. So he can change. We've seen it, right? He can change the dynamics of a game, and so there's high alert in every situation when we know where he's lined up offensively, and then also in the return game, if we can limit that opportunity, then that would favor us.
You said you were pretty impressed with Christian Holmes' instincts after the Georgia game. How has he progressed since his coming back from his injury?
I think more than anything with Christian is just getting real game reps, and more reps has allowed him to play with confidence. And most of the guys that are coming back from an injury, that's one of the main things that they've got to get back in the flow of things and get back into the battle, so to speak. And he's done that. He also, he's got his eyes in the right spot, and that maybe hasn't always been the case for him. He's seeing too much and trying to do too much instead of just focusing on the techniques and the habits of what that play needs for him to do. And he's grown up and matured in that area as a competitor and understanding that. So credit to him. He's still got, he's still getting a lot better, but he's made a lot of positive strides, and it's going to help the team.
Barry, Tyler Beatty obviously wasn't the most highly regarded guy by the recruiting services, but what kind of made you all as a staff identify him?
We look at in the return game for him, the explosiveness that he had, and then the way when he played, when he didn't have the ball, the competitive spirit that he had when he was blocking, when he was doing the things. He was just a really good football player, and I thought that, and he's done some work now too since he got here on developing himself a little bit more with physical build, on adding some weight and muscle, and with that he's become more of an explosive player. So he was a really good player, we thought, in high school. I think we projected on if he could get into the position that he is. What I didn't know about Tyler was how was he going to handle everything from a maturity standpoint, on blocking schemes, on protection, on the ins and outs of being able to play every snap. And I've been impressed with what he has done, being able to put himself into this position with all the things that we put on him. He hadn't really blinked an eye, and just kind of has gone and done his job, which is pretty awesome.
Barry, you mentioned challenges on offense and defense with South Carolina and their atmosphere. If you had to single out like the toughest part about playing South Carolina on Saturday, what would you say?
I think this, overall, it comes down to the ability to perform at a higher level than they do, and that's every opponent, whether it's here or away or in the parking lot. You've got to go focus and bring and deliver your A game, your best every snap, and whoever does that wins the turnover margin, eliminates explosive plays on defense or makes them on offense. That's when it'll come down to the fourth quarter. That's going to who will be in position to win a game. So, they do a lot of things really, really good, and I think that we have the opportunity to do that as well. So we need to go focus and play our best game to have a chance, and I know that we'll get the best out of Will's squad as well.
Barry, Jake Bentley left the game against Georgia early with an injury. How much of this week is preparation for him, and do you go back and try to find what they do with another quarterback in there as you get ready for this weekend? I would expect we'll see Jake out there first snap, and I think their offense will go as it does. I think he's a great competitor, and I think he'll be ready to go play. So we're preparing for him to be the starting quarterback and to play for 4 quarters. Also, you're always aware of what else is out there when you're trying to game plan against someone. When the other guy went in the other night, the situation it was, we've got enough film on that. It seems like they run their offense.
Coach, Drew kind of mentioned that he kind of views South Carolina as a rival. Does that, in your few years here, you kind of seen that that's maybe a little bit more heated? Is it a sort of a rivalry to you?
I wouldn't, I think every game, would be a rivalry, I guess. I don't know. I mean, there's, 2 competitive teams. Obviously, got great respect for what they do and how they do it. It's a great place to play, a fun environment. If Drew wants it to be that, then let's do it. All right, I'm all in. Let's go. If that makes us play better, let's absolutely. But it's the next opponent for us, and they're a good one. And I know that we'll get their best shot.
Barry, does Brian Edwards kind of force the secondary and what you guys do on defense, force you to be balanced so you can't help over on Debo? How does he change things?
No, he's explosive and is a big-time playmaker. And, they've got a couple of those guys that you watch and study, and, they get your attention pretty quickly. So there are going to be times that there's one-on-one matchups that we've got to find a way to win the competitive ball. And if you spend too much time rotate the coverage or focused on one guy, then they've got enough playmakers in position to go hurt you in other areas. So we got to be aware of where the guys are lined up, obviously, in by formation and what our tendencies are, and then go play ball, cut loose, and understand that if you spend too much time focused on this guy or this area of the field, they're good enough, they've recruited well, they've got, scheme-wise, that they've got areas to counteract that and hurt you in other areas too.
Barry, last year you guys had South Carolina in the second game of the season. Obviously this year you guys had Purdue, Georgia, with Rondo Moore, and all the Bulldog receivers. Do you think the schedules kind of helped you guys be more equipped to handle a receiving corps like South Carolina?
Every team's a little different, obviously, and I think the ability more than anything, maybe for us that's helped us is some of the route concepts that we're having to defend in practice now. And we've got a long ways to go in that area on getting to where we need to be. But I think more than anything, the work through spring practice, the work through fall camp, and now some of the crossover work that we're still able to do in practice, good on good, that's helped us being able to defend some different route concepts, not just the vertical ball or the comeback. So our guys are working hard, and we know that we'll get every concept imaginable this week, and we've got to be able to do a great job in our zone coverage on matching it up, but then also when we're man-to-man, be close enough, because Jake's got an arm that he's going to put it in there, and then that's where it comes down to the competitive makeup and the battles of winning a one-on-one.
Barry, South Carolina broke out that offensive lineup where they split a lineman out wide with 2 receivers for one series against Kentucky. What do you think that does in terms of stressing a defense? I don't know how much you'll see this weekend, and Kentucky defended it pretty well.
I'm sure we'll see it, and I'm sure we'll see something else, and so you better spend time practicing on it and game planning it, and that's what you got to do. You got to find ways to be able to move the football, and they had a great drive in that formation. So we're spending lots of time on trying to find out, and then there's going to be something that comes off of that, right? So anyway, that's one of the fun parts of coaching, and you look at it, and I'm going to call Will here in a minute and see if he'll tell me what they're doing next. He'll give me something. I don't know if it'll be exactly true.
You're at, I guess, kind of decision point with some of the red shirt stuff. I mean, is it safe to assume that guys who have played in every game are probably going to continue to play, even if it's only been special teams?
We will, and I think those guys that have played up to this point in all 4 games, they're locked in, and we're going to keep playing. A guy like Mike Ruth that played early on the first 2 games in a special team situation. I think he was in PAT, field goal opportunity, and then he played some real O-line snaps. That would be a guy that you wouldn't want to continue to play, to get past the 4 at this point. Now things can happen and change with injuries and all those things, and we've got the grind and the stretch of the things that are about to happen here. Who knows depth-wise how it's going to all play out, but the guys that have helped us up to this point, we're going to keep on plugging and keep on playing, because I think they've got an opportunity to, even after last week and watching them developing, I'm talking about our freshmen, they got a chance to really make a mark and help this team move forward.
Barry, about your run game, the 3 running backs, their number of carries have been pretty equal. Has that been by design, and do you see a point in the season where you may go with a hot hand if it plays that way?
I think it, more than anything, comes down to all 3 of them have helped us be productive in the run game. They also bring something a little bit different in either pass protection or pass routes. So all 3 are so important to what we're doing. I'm going to keep on playing all 3, and I don't know if how the reps will change much going forward. I think they're all so vital in what we're trying to do offensively. We don't know that. I'm not ready to say one guy is the guy, because I think we're better right now with all 3 guys playing. And they practice the right way. They understand the roles that we've got on offense, on how they need to play, and I'm proud of their approach and how that they've helped this team.
Barry, you see around the country guys transferring after they've hit their 4-game cap with the new redshirt rule. Was kind of like an accidental result from this. Was this something that you had thought about when the new rule came into place? Have there been any conversations with guys that you might not have expected to have with all that?
Well, you look at when new rules go into place, you look at the positives and then the negatives of all of it, and that came up in our off-season discussion that's possible. We haven't had any discussions here.
Coach, are you going to spend any resources or make any coaches? How much time are you going to spend on potentially recruiting some of these transfer candidates because of the new rules, like potentially one of the quarterbacks, big name quarterbacks that announced or that are sitting out now?
Well, you look at your recruiting needs for every class, and the way that the rule reads, it's just like any other transfer. You can't have any contact with them until you get a release that you can, and then if we get a release on anybody in the country, then we'll look into it and do our studies and see if it's a fit maybe for a program. But and until that happens, it's just that's out there, and you've got to be aware of the opportunities maybe of guys that are looking to go somewhere else, but when they reach out and you get the release through compliance, then you can start really doing information digging and find out how serious they are. But it's there's also a fine line of you can't go and you can only sign the number of 25, and if you fill it with transfers, and then a year later it's a numbers game on trying to make sure projection that you get the right fit for your program and what you need to do in all the areas recruiting wise. So a little bit of a different dynamic that everybody's facing, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Cam mentioned with that thumb injury that you had the same one, and you didn't get surgery, and he did. Can he still be effective, you think?
Yeah, I think he's going to get better as we go here, but just because the first week he played, he hadn't had the surgery yet, and it kept coming out even in the cast. So I mean, it was a painful. He showed some toughness on being able to play through that. And, you know, last week had the procedure done and then really bounced back out and had really good practice. So he's going to be better in the long run, and I've told him stories about the inability to not be able to use your right thumb. So my recommendation, get it fixed, because if you don't, you're going to be 40 and it's going to really bother you. So anyway, I'm glad he did it. I think he's got a chance here, you know, to be protected this week and maybe next with a cast, but then past that should be, you know, off and ready to go. So he's just got to focus. When you're in that situation, you got to make sure that you really wrap, and because you don't have a lot of movement there with the cast on the hand, and you know, the fundamentals of trying to make a tackle change a little bit, and then also you got an opportunity to make a catch on the ball. A lot of one-handed stuff, but you got to find a way to work it. He's done a really good job. I've been proud of the way that he's handled it and responded to, you know, that injury.
Anything more for Coach? That's it.
All right, guys.
All right, thank you.
Have a great day.